Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it's time for the second entry into my Halloween 2013 series. And this time out, I'm going to be taking a look at the movie Creature from 2011. Now, this is a B movie through and through. It's actually one of those movies that somehow found its way to a theatrical release, and it's actually become kind of a bigger story as sort of a misstep in the film world because it was such a huge flop in theaters. I didn't actually realize that until I watched the film today on Netflix. But I found out this movie was released in 1,500 theaters nationwide in September of 2011, and it made a grand total of $331,000 on 1,500 screens over the opening weekend, which counts as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, opening day flop of all time, at least in recent years. I didn't dig into too many other competing flopping movies, but from what I've read, this was a pretty huge flop, and it kind of surprised the producers because it was such a big flop. But again, like I said, I didn't know that when I watched it. All I knew is that it looked like a fairly entertaining, old-school creature feature featuring an actual monster suit, little to no CGI that I could see, at least not in anything other than the titles, and it looked like it was going to be a pretty stupid good time, which is exactly what I was expecting and is pretty much exactly what I got. The film was written and directed by Fred Andrews. It was actually co-written by Fred Andrews along with Tracy Morse and was directed by Fred Andrews. This is so far his first and only directorial feature. He has actually been a production designer on a lot of TV shows, including CSI Miami and some other stuff that I don't remember at the moment. Apparently the cast is fairly well known as from TV roles and shows that I've never seen. You've got a cast which includes Mehcad Brooks, Serinda Swan, and Dylan Casey. If those names mean anything to you, more power to you. The name that attracted me to the film was Sid Haig, who is featured as a storekeeper in the backwoods of Louisiana named Chopper. The plot of this film immediately screams B-movie. You've got a half alligator, half man called Grimly, who is walking around apparently sort of like Bigfoot in the backwoods of Louisiana near New Orleans somewhere. And he's sort of a local legend. And a group of ex-military 20-something guys and their respective girlfriends are taking a trip to New Orleans, and they decide to stop at this store where they learn about this local legend. One of the guys in the group seems to be a little more familiar with the story than anybody else, so he kind of fills in all the gaps to his friends, and they become intrigued and they want to see this house where supposedly this creature Grimly was once lived when he was human. The creation story of the creature is absolutely hilarious. Apparently the man Grimly, I'll kind of leave some of the detail out of it, but essentially what happens is he ate an alligator and got very sad and turned into a half man, half alligator. I'll leave the details out because it's one of the more interesting bits of the film. The only problem I really had with this film is that it doesn't really know where to go, even in terms of being a rather tongue-in-cheek B-movie. It kind of falls apart probably at the halfway point, but it's still kind of fun. The plot is super cliched. It's stuff we've seen before. It's overly familiar, but it's done in such a tongue-in-cheek way that I think even with its many production gaffes, there's clothes that change mid-scene. In one particular scene, there's a man who gets shot in the leg, and then he apparently heals faster than Wolverine because he proceeds to jump, run, fight without any apparent pain from this shotgun blast, or I don't know if it was a shotgun, I think it was just a regular gun, whatever. If you get shot in the leg, you're going to feel it for quite a while afterwards. He apparently heals super quickly. I don't know. This is a movie that features a lot of gratuitous nudity, a totally ridiculous lesbian scene, a little bit of gore, not too ridiculous, a nice old-fashioned monster suit, sort of harkens back to Creature from the Black Lagoon, even though it's nowhere near as good a film as Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's made from, kind of the same stock, albeit with a lot more modern touches, the gore, the nudity, and some other highly sexual scenes that I won't spoil for you because they're just over the top ridiculous. So if you're looking for a movie to have for a Halloween party with a bunch of friends, some beers, and a good time, it's not particularly scary, but it's got some jump scares, I guess, that maybe would catch some people off guard. It's fun, it's stupid, it's not trying to be anything else other than that. And for that, I'm going to give Creature a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Admittedly, it's not a great film, but it's not supposed to be, and I liked it for what it is, and it's true to itself as a dumb B-movie horror film monster flick that kind of has its roots in the old 50s horror, but it has, like I said, quite a few modern flourishes to it, and it's got Sid Haig, and you can never go wrong with a little bit of Sid Haig in your life. So there you go. That's my review of Creature from 2011, and I will get a couple more reviews up by Halloween to finish out my Halloween series. As always, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I want to thank everybody who's done so lately. I've picked up quite a few subscribers in just the last couple of days. I really want to thank everybody for subscribing who has, and everybody that's been along for the ride since the beginning. So thanks very much. Take it easy.